Captain Elena Voss stood on the bridge of the exploration ship Odyssey, staring at the swirling colors of the uncharted planet below. It was a world untouched by known civilizations, a gem of green oceans and jagged mountains surrounded by thick clouds of golden dust. The sensors of the ship hummed quietly, scanning every inch of the planet's surface. Humanity had explored countless worlds before, but something about this one made Elena uneasy and excited at the same time. "Captain, we are receiving unusual energy readings from the northern continent," said Lieutenant Marcus Hahn, pointing at a bright signal blinking on the holographic map. His voice was calm, but there was a hint of tension. Elena nodded. "Prepare an exploration team. I want a full survey of the area. Keep sensors active. We don't know what we might find." The landing party consisted of Elena herself, Marcus, the young scientist Ravi Patel, and 2 security officers, Lara and Chen. The shuttle descended through the thick clouds, vibrating as it passed through pockets of atmospheric turbulence. From above, the planet looked alive, almost as if it were watching them. When they landed, the team stepped onto soft, moss-like ground. The air was breathable but had a strange metallic tang. The northern continent stretched endlessly, covered in enormous rock formations shaped like arches and towers. Among these natural structures were ruins, ancient and perfectly symmetrical, with smooth surfaces that seemed to hum faintly. Ravi ran his fingers over a carved panel. "Captain, this technology, it's not human. It's not from any species we've catalogued." His eyes widened with excitement. "This civilization is far older and far more advanced than anything we've seen before." Elena's brow furrowed. "We need to be careful. Advanced doesn't always mean friendly." She glanced at Lara and Chen. "Stay alert. Any movement, any sound, report immediately." As the team explored deeper into the ruins, they found intricate symbols etched into walls. The patterns pulsed faintly when touched, almost like they were alive. Ravi scanned them with a handheld device. "These symbols are part of a network, some kind of communication system. If we activate it, it might broadcast a signal." Elena's instincts warned her. "Ravi, do not activate anything until we understand it fully." But the young scientist's curiosity got the better of him. "Just one test," he muttered, pressing a glowing panel. The ground trembled. Lights flashed across the ruins and the walls emitted a low hum. A beam of energy shot into the sky, piercing the clouds and reaching far into space. Elena's heart sank. "Ravi, what did you do?" Before anyone could answer, the ship's sensors screamed in alarm. A massive energy signature appeared beyond the planet's orbit. Something enormous was moving fast. Marcus adjusted the scanner. "Captain, that's a fleet. And they're coming this way." Elena's stomach tightened. "Identify them." The readings were unfamiliar. The fleet's ships were black, angular, and bristling with weapons. They moved with precision and intelligence unlike any species humanity had encountered. Ravi's face went pale. "Captain, I think we just sent a signal to them. They're coming because of us." Elena's voice was steady, but inside she felt the weight of doom. All hands returned to the shuttle. "We're leaving. Now." The landing party sprinted back through the ruins, their boots pounding against the alien stone. Behind them, the ground shook as the first tendrils of energy from the approaching fleet began interacting with the planet's magnetic field. The shuttle shuddered violently as Elena piloted it upward, dodging bursts of energy that shot from orbiting ships. "Shields at 70%, shouted Chen. "They're already testing us." "They're fast. Faster than anything we've faced," Marcus added, eyes glued to the scanner. Elena's mind raced. Humanity had fought pirates, rogue AI, and even aggressive alien species before, but nothing like this. These were not explorers, not traders. These were predators, and they were massive in scale, with fleets designed for annihilation. As the Odyssey broke through the planet's atmosphere, Elena contacted Earth Command. "This is Captain Elena Voss of the Odyssey. We've made first contact, hostile contact. Fleet approaching." "I repeat, hostile fleet approaching. Request immediate support," static crackled through the comms. "Odyssey, this is Earth Command. We're receiving your signal, but we have no data on this species. Unknown threat. Advise immediate retreat to safe coordinates." Elena gritted her teeth. "Acknowledged. We're heading to the asteroid belt nearby for cover. Prepare for evasive maneuvers." As the shuttle navigated through the thick atmosphere and out into space, Ravi stared at the view screen. "Captain, Do you realize what we've done? We've declared war. I didn't know it, but that beacon, it's a call to the deadliest species in the galaxy. Elena's eyes narrowed. Then we have a choice. We run or we survive. If we survive, humanity will never be the same. The fleet approached at terrifying speed. Their lead ship opened massive energy cannons and the sky lit with bright, deadly beams. The Odyssey shook as shields absorbed the first hits. Shields holding at 50%, Chen reported, his knuckles white on the console. We can't outrun them forever, Elena said, her mind racing. We need a plan. Ravi leaned over a console, scanning the fleet. Captain, they're ships. They operate with a hive mind system. They think together as one. If we can disrupt their connection, we might slow them down. Elena nodded. Good, start analyzing patterns. Marcus, prepare all defensive measures. Lara, Chen, keep our engines stable. Everyone else, stay sharp. As the hours passed, the crew of the Odyssey worked like a single organism. The Zetherian fleet, as they would later learn the species was called, advanced relentlessly. Every evasive maneuver, every defensive trick seemed to meet an equal counter. The humans' survival depended on creativity and courage, their natural strengths. Through the long night of space and danger, Elena observed her crew. Fear was there, yes, but so was determination. Humanity had survived countless challenges with weaker technology, smaller fleets, and fewer resources. They could survive this too, but only if they stayed united, focused, and inventive. As the Odyssey reached the edge of the planet's magnetic storms, Elena made a decision. We're going to use the storms. They'll interfere with their sensors. It's our only chance to escape. The ship dove into the thick clouds surrounding the planet. Lightning flashed across the sky, and massive electromagnetic pulses rocked the Odyssey. The Zetherian fleet hesitated, their weapons misfiring in the storm. With careful piloting, Elena guided the ship through the chaos. When they finally emerged on the other side, the fleet was still in pursuit, but slowed, confused by the planet's natural defenses. For now they had survived, but Elena knew this was only the beginning. Ravi looked at the stars, voice trembling. Captain, they'll be back. And they'll come stronger next time. We've done more than make first contact. We've declared war. Elena placed a hand on his shoulder. Then we prepare. Humanity doesn't back down. We adapt, we fight, and we survive. That is who we are. The Odyssey set a course for the nearby asteroid belt, hoping to find temporary safety and time to plan. Far above, the Zetherian fleet hovered like a storm waiting to strike again. But for the first time, the humans felt a flicker of hope. Against the deadliest species in the galaxy, they had escaped, not through power but through ingenuity, courage, and unity. And that, Elena thought, was the true strength of being human. The asteroid belt shimmered like a field of scattered jewels in the cold blackness of space. The Odyssey glided cautiously between the massive rocks, each one large enough to destroy the ship if a collision occurred. Captain Elena Voss and her crew had hoped the asteroid field would provide temporary safety, a natural shield to hide from the relentless Zetherian fleet. But even here, the danger was not gone. Marcus Hahn monitored the sensors, his eyes flicking between screens. Captain, they're not leaving. The fleet has split into smaller groups. They're searching every sector of this belt. They know we're here. Elena's lips pressed into a thin line. Then we stay hidden, but we prepare. We don't know what they can do, but we do know this. They underestimate us if they think humans will panic. Ravi Patel leaned over the tactical console, running calculations. Captain, I've been studying their attack patterns. Their ships are fast, very fast, but they rely heavily on coordination. If we can disrupt that coordination, even temporarily, we might gain the advantage we need. Lara, the security officer, frowned. Disrupt them how? We don't even have weapons strong enough to damage their shields. Elena turned to her. Not weapons, Lara, strategy. Humans have something no other species has, a mind that can adapt in ways they can't predict. We can outthink them. The crew spent the next few hours quietly preparing the ship. Ravi worked tirelessly to modify the Odyssey's communication systems to send out signals that could interfere with the Zetherian hive mind. Marcus optimized the ship's thrusters for rapid, unpredictable movements. Lara and Chen fortified internal defenses in case the fleet discovered their hiding place. The calm didn't last long. Sensors flashed red and an alarm blared. Captain, multiple enemy ships are approaching from the northern passage. Marcus shouted. Elena's heart tightened. Brace for contact. Initiate evasive maneuvers. The asteroid field suddenly became a dangerous maze as the Odyssey darted between massive rocks. Zetherian ships followed, firing energy pulses that exploded against asteroids or missed the Odyssey by mere meters. The ship shuddered under the force of each near hit. Ravi's hands flew across the console. "Captain! I can send out a disruption pulse. It might temporarily scramble their coordination, but we have only one chance. Timing will be critical." Elena made her decision instantly. "Do it." "Marcus, angle the ship toward the narrow passage on my mark." The narrow passage was just wide enough for the Odyssey to slip through, but too tight for the larger Zetherian ships. Elena gritted her teeth and pushed the thrusters to their limits. As the ship accelerated, Ravi activated the disruption pulse. A wave of electromagnetic interference rippled through the asteroid belt, and the sensors flickered. For a brief moment, the Zetherian ships faltered. Their energy beams misfired, hitting asteroids instead of the Odyssey. Elena seized the opportunity and guided the ship through the passage with precision. "Shields at 30%, Chen shouted. "They're still targeting us!" Elena's eyes narrowed. "Keep going. We're almost through." Finally, the Odyssey emerged into a wider part of the asteroid belt. The Zetherians regrouped, frustrated by the humans' maneuver. Elena allowed herself a small smile. "They think they have the upper hand because of size and power. They don't understand us yet." Ravi leaned back, exhausted but triumphant. "Captain, that worked better than I expected, but we can't keep running forever. They'll adapt." Elena nodded, her mind already racing ahead. "Exactly. We need to think bigger. We need to turn their strength into a weakness. If we can make them overextend, we might find a way to strike back." That night, in the dim glow of the Odyssey's control room, the crew gathered for a meeting. Elena stood at the center, her voice steady and commanding. "We've survived the first encounter. That is a victory in itself. But we must be honest, this is only the beginning. The Zetherians are the deadliest species in the galaxy. They have destroyed entire civilizations, but they have never faced humans on equal terms. We are adaptable, creative, and determined. Those qualities are more powerful than brute force." Lara crossed her arms. "Captain, what's the plan? We can't keep hiding forever." Elena's eyes met hers. "We won't. We will learn from them. We will find their weaknesses. And when the time comes, we will strike. Not with overwhelming power, but with precision, strategy, and intelligence." Marcus added, "We have the asteroid belt advantage for now. But eventually, they will find a way to flush us out. We need more than tactics, we need technology." Ravi nodded eagerly. "I've already started analyzing their ship designs from the brief scans we managed to capture. There are patterns, weaknesses in their energy routing. If we can exploit them, we can create a weapon that doesn't destroy everything but temporarily disables them." Elena smiled faintly. "Good work on it. Every second counts. We survive today, we fight tomorrow. And one day, humanity will make them regret ever underestimating us." Days passed in tense preparation. The crew took shifts scanning the fleet's movements, repairing damage to the Odyssey and running simulations of potential attacks. Food rations were carefully measured, and rest was short but necessary. The crew learned to move quietly, to anticipate danger, and to trust each other completely. Then the first strike came. It began with a flash on the sensors. A Zetherian scout ship had found their position, smaller and faster than the main fleet. It fired a warning pulse, a clear message: humans would not escape again. Elena ordered immediate countermeasures. Evasive maneuvers. Prepare to engage the scouts if necessary, but do not fire unless absolutely required. The scout ship moved with terrifying speed, almost as if it anticipated the Odyssey's every move. Lara and Chen prepared the defensive shields, while Marcus adjusted the ship's trajectory with precise, rapid calculations. Ravi activated a secondary pulse, designed to interfere with the scout's navigation systems. The ship wobbled unexpectedly, veering into the path of a small asteroid. It collided and exploded, a brilliant flash against the blackness of space. The crew exhaled, relief washing over them. But they knew this was only a minor victory. From deep within the asteroid belt, the Zetherian fleet began to appear again, massive ships moving with terrifying coordination. The humans had bought time, but they could not hide forever. Elena addressed her crew. "Listen carefully. Every moment we delay, every small victory we achieve, teaches us more about them. We learn, we adapt. That is our advantage. They have power, yes, but we have something they lack. Ingenuity. And that is what will keep us alive. Ravi worked through the night analyzing the fleet's patterns, searching for flaws. He discovered a slight delay in the communication between certain ships, a tiny window where the Zytherians' perfect coordination faltered. It was not much, but it was enough to inspire hope. Marcus tested the maneuver. If we time it right, we can use their own speed against them, drawing them into positions where we can escape or strike. Elena nodded, determination burning in her eyes. Good, we practice. We prepare. And when the moment comes, we act with precision. Humanity will survive this not by brute force, but by being clever, fast, and united. As the Odyssey moved deeper into the asteroid belt, the Zytherian ships lingered at the edge, observing, calculating, and waiting. The humans had survived the first strike, but they knew it was only the beginning of a war that could decide the fate of their species. But in the darkness of space, amidst the floating rocks and cold silence, the humans found a spark of hope. They had faced the deadliest species in the galaxy and survived. They had adapted when the odds were against them, and they had discovered a truth that no enemy could take away. Ingenuity, courage, and unity were more powerful than raw strength. Elena stood on the bridge, staring at the distant flickers of the Zytherian fleet. "We survived today," she said quietly. "Tomorrow we learn, and one day we will fight back, not as prey, but as humans." In the asteroid belt, the Odyssey drifted silently, readying itself for the battles ahead. Humanity had won a small victory, but the war had only just begun. And even in the face of the deadliest species in the galaxy, humans had proven that they were not to be underestimated. The Odyssey drifted cautiously through the asteroid belt, surrounded by jagged rocks and the faint glimmer of distant stars. Outside, the Zytherian fleet lingered at the edge of sensor range, massive ships moving in perfect formation, scanning for any trace of the humans. Inside the ship, Captain Elena Voss paced the bridge, her mind racing with strategies and calculations. Ravi Patel, still pale from their first encounter, worked at a console cluttered with holographic schematics of the enemy ships. "Captain," he said, "their fleet may be huge, but they follow predictable patterns. Every attack, every maneuver is calculated. If we study these patterns, we can exploit them." Elena nodded. "Good. Focus on their energy routing systems. I want to know everything about their communication and coordination. Marcus, prepare simulations based on Ravi's data. Lara and Chen, we'll need you to lead defensive drills. We can't be caught unprepared again." The crew of the Odyssey spent hours analyzing the Zytherians' movements. Every flicker of energy, every pulse of light from their ships was recorded and studied. Slowly, patterns began to emerge. The Zytherians communicated through a hive-mind network, linking each ship's sensors and weapons. But there were tiny gaps, milliseconds where one ship acted before receiving confirmation from the rest. Those milliseconds were all humanity needed. Ravi's eyes lit up as he made a breakthrough. "Captain, I've found it!" There's a delay in their signal relays, especially when multiple ships are coordinating attacks. If we can create interference at the right moment, we can disrupt their formation temporarily. Elena's mind raced. How long would the disruption last? "Just a few seconds," Ravi admitted. "But that's enough to slip through, strike a smaller ship, or redirect them into traps." Elena's lips curled into a determined smile. "Then we'll use those seconds wisely. Marcus, design maneuvers that exploit these gaps. Lara and Chen, prepare the crew to execute rapid evasive actions during the pulse. Ravi, perfect the interference signal. Tonight we test it." That night, the Odyssey moved to the edge of the belt where smaller asteroids could provide cover but still allow them to observe the fleet. The Zytherians were out there, massive and silent, as if they knew the humans were preparing something. Elena felt a chill run down her spine, not from fear, but from anticipation. "Here's the plan," she said firmly. "We bait a small portion of their fleet into pursuing us through the asteroid field. When the moment comes, Ravi will send the interference pulse, and Marcus will guide us through the gaps. Lara and Chen, keep our shields at maximum and prepare to dodge anything that comes through." The first ship took the bait. A smaller Zytherian vessel broke formation and chased the Odyssey into the tighter parts of the belt. Elena guided the ship skillfully, weaving between asteroids, drawing the enemy deeper into a zone where their size became a disadvantage. "Now, Ravi," Elena commanded. Ravi's fingers danced across the console, A ripple of energy pulsed through space, invisible to the eye but detectable by the Zetherian sensors. The enemy ship wavered, its trajectory faltering for a brief, perfect moment. "Move! Now!" Elena shouted. The Odyssey shot forward, weaving through the asteroids with incredible precision. Marcus adjusted the thrusters in milliseconds, exploiting every delay in the enemy's calculations. The Zetherian ship slammed against an asteroid, sending a shower of rock and sparks into the void. It was destroyed without a single human weapon fired. The crew exhaled, relief and exhilaration mingling. "We did it," Lara said quietly, almost in disbelief. "We actually did it." Elena nodded, her eyes scanning the sensors. "One ship down." "That's small, yes, but it proves something important. They are not invincible. We have weaknesses and we can find them." Ravi continued analyzing the fleet's data, discovering more vulnerabilities. "Captain, their energy routing is designed for constant coordination. If we can interfere at multiple points simultaneously, we could potentially disable a small squadron for minutes, not seconds." Elena's mind raced. "Then we need to scale this up. We'll need more devices, more signals, more simulations. Humanity doesn't have raw numbers like them, but we have ingenuity, and that can outmatch brute force." Over the next several days, the crew of the Odyssey worked tirelessly. They modified communication arrays into interference generators. They tested evasive maneuvers against simulations. They created dummy signals to confuse these Etherians into overextending their attacks. Sleep was short, and food was rationed carefully. But the humans were fueled by determination rather than energy bars. Even in the quiet moments, the crew felt the weight of their situation. Ravi looked out at the distant Zetherian ships, pale light reflecting off his glasses. "They've destroyed worlds," he said softly. "Entire civilizations, and we're just a small ship, a tiny crew. How can we stand against them?" Elena placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Not by strength, Ravi. By thinking, by working together, by never giving up. That is the human way. We survive where others fail. And remember, ingenuity can change everything, even against the deadliest species in the galaxy." Lara and Chen joined them, nodding in agreement. "She's right," Chen said. "We may be small, but we're smart. And we've survived the first attacks. That counts for something." Their preparations were tested sooner than expected. A small squadron of Zetherian ships entered the asteroid belt, scanning aggressively for the humans. Elena calmly gave orders, and the Odyssey moved as one with its crew. Ravi activated multiple interference pulses, and Marcus guided the ship with expert precision. The Zetherians, normally flawless in their coordination, faltered, their weapons misfiring against asteroids and each other. Elena's voice rang with confidence. "Now draw them in further. Keep moving. We control this encounter." The humans used the asteroid field like a chessboard. Each ship's movement was anticipated, each delay exploited. One by one, small Zetherian vessels collided with asteroids or drifted off course. No human was harmed. And the crew proved a simple truth: strategy, creativity, and unity could overcome raw power. When the squadron finally retreated, damaged and confused, the crew of the Odyssey let out a cheer. It was not a victory in the traditional sense, but it was proof that humanity could fight back even against the deadliest species in the galaxy. Elena addressed the crew. "Today, we learned that survival is not just about running or hiding. It is about thinking, adapting, and using every advantage we have. Humanity has something no other species does. We turn challenges into opportunities. We are alive because we are clever, not because we are strong." Ravi smiled, hope shining in his eyes. "Captain, if we keep improving these interference signals, we could slow them down even more. Maybe even take on larger squadrons." Elena nodded. "Exactly. We learn, we adapt, and we strike when the time is right. That is how humans survive. That is how we will fight back." That night, as the crew rested in shifts, Elena stood on the bridge, staring at the distant lights of the Zetherian fleet. Their ships were massive and ominous, yet they had weaknesses, and humanity had discovered them. She allowed herself a moment of quiet pride. "We are not powerless," she whispered. "We are not insignificant. We are humans, and we will survive." The Odyssey drifted silently in the asteroid belt, a tiny ship against a vast and deadly fleet. But within its hull, humanity's greatest weapon had been proven true: the power of ingenuity, unity, and courage. In the darkness of space, The humans prepared for the battles to come. They knew the Zetherians would return, stronger and more determined. But they also knew something the Predators did not. Humans could think, adapt, and outsmart any foe. And that truth, more than any weapon, would keep them alive. The Odyssey had spent days hidden among the asteroids, analyzing, preparing, and learning. Captain Elena Voss had never felt more determined. Humanity had survived the first encounters with the Zetherians, but she knew the real challenge was coming. The enemy would not stay confused for long. They would adapt, coordinate, and strike harder. Marcus Hahn paced the bridge, his fingers tapping nervously on the console. "Captain, sensors indicate multiple squadrons are converging on our location. They've learned we're in the belt. This isn't a scouting mission anymore. They're coming for us." Elena's eyes narrowed. "Good. That means they've underestimated us before, and that gave us time. Now we turn the tables." Ravi status on the interference arrays? Ravi, hunched over his console, didn't look up. "All ready, Captain. I've upgraded the pulses. Instead of milliseconds, we can now disrupt their coordination for several seconds, enough to cause confusion among their squadrons. But we'll need precise timing. One mistake and they'll overwhelm us." Lara and Chen checked the shields and weapons systems, making sure everything was functioning. "Captain," Lara said, "they're approaching fast. If this works, it could buy us time. If it fails, we might not survive." Elena placed a steady hand on the railing. "Then we make it work. We've survived before and we'll survive now. Humanity isn't just about strength. We're about thinking, adapting, and never giving up." The first squadron entered the asteroid belt, massive ships moving with frightening precision. They opened fire, energy pulses slicing through space and shattering nearby asteroids. The Odyssey shuddered under the force, but Elena guided the ship skillfully, weaving between rocks and dodging debris. "Ravi, now!" Elena shouted. Ravi activated the interference arrays. A wave of electromagnetic pulses spread outward, invisible but powerful. These Itherian ships wavered, their formation faltering. Energy beams misfired and some vessels collided with asteroids. "Excellent," Marcus said, eyes glued to the scanner. "They're off balance. Keep pushing them deeper into the belt." The humans used every advantage the asteroid field offered. They led the enemy ships into narrow corridors, forcing their massive hulls to slow or risk collisions. The Zetherians, confident in their speed and precision, were caught off guard by the unpredictability of the human maneuvers. Lara and Chen worked the shields with flawless timing, deflecting stray energy pulses. "Shields holding at 70%, Chen reported. "We're taking hits, but nothing critical." Elena's mind raced. "Prepare the next phase. Marcus, identify the ships that are damaged or delayed. Ravi, amplify the interference pulse when we reach the choke point. This is our chance to strike." Hours passed in tense coordination. The humans moved like a single organism, anticipating the enemy's moves and exploiting their brief vulnerabilities. The asteroid belt became a trap, each turn and maneuver carefully calculated. Ravi leaned back, his eyes wide with excitement. "Captain, we've done it. Several ships are disabled temporarily. If we can target the largest one, we can create chaos in the fleet." Elena nodded. "Then that's our goal." Marcus, plot a course to lead them into the center of the belt. Lara and Chen prepared defensive measures for maximum impact. The Odyssey darted forward, guiding the Zetherians toward the center of the belt. Massive asteroids surrounded them, creating a natural maze. As the enemy ships navigated the corridor, the humans activated the amplified interference pulse. The effect was immediate. The Zetherians' coordination broke down. Energy beams misfired, several ships collided with asteroids, and confusion rippled through the fleet. It was the first time the humans had ever seen the deadliest species in the galaxy falter so visibly. Elena allowed herself a small smile. "This is it. Now we act." Using the chaos, the Odyssey targeted the largest ship in the squadron, a flagship bristling with weapons and heavily armored. Marcus guided the human ship through precise maneuvers, dodging energy pulses and weaving through tight spaces. Ravi maintained the interference pulse, keeping the flagship's systems disrupted. "Shields down to 50%, Chen shouted. "It's hitting us hard, Captain." Elena's eyes were sharp, calculating every move. Focus on precision, not power. One well-timed strike can change everything. With a combination of clever maneuvers and targeted interference, the humans managed to disable the flagship's main communication core. The massive vessel shuddered, its fleet falling into disarray. Smaller Zetherian ships drifted off course, unable to coordinate without the central commands. Ravi couldn't contain his excitement. "Captain, we've done it. The flagship is disabled." Elena's smile widened. "Not victory yet, Ravi, but this is the turning point. Humanity has proven that even the deadliest species can be challenged with ingenuity, strategy, and courage." The remaining Zetherian ships attempted to regroup, but their movements were slow and uncoordinated. The humans used this opportunity to slip away, retreating to a safer region of the asteroid belt. The Odyssey was battered, but intact, and the crew's spirits were higher than ever. In the quiet moments after the encounter, Elena gathered the crew. "Today we achieved something incredible. We faced the deadliest species in the galaxy and forced them to retreat. That is proof that we can survive, even against overwhelming odds. Remember this, humans are not defined by size or strength, but by ingenuity, determination, and unity." Ravi, exhausted but smiling, added, "Captain, if we continue to refine our interference technology and tactics, we could turn more of their fleet against them." "We can create advantages where none seem to exist," Elena nodded. "Exactly. We have learned that we can adapt faster than they expect. That is our strength. We survive, we grow, and we strike when the time is right. Humanity's resilience is unmatched." The crew spent the next few days repairing the Odyssey and reinforcing their systems. They developed new strategies, simulations, and devices designed to exploit every weakness in the Zetherians' coordination. They trained relentlessly, perfecting maneuvers and preparing for future encounters. Elena often walked the ship's corridors at night, reflecting on the events. Humanity had survived its first major engagement with the deadliest species in the galaxy. They had used clever thinking, creativity, and teamwork to overcome impossible odds. And they had proven one undeniable truth. No matter how advanced or powerful an enemy may seem, humans could always find a way to survive and fight back. Ravi joined her quietly. "Captain, do you think we can really beat them someday?" Elena smiled, her gaze fixed on the stars. "Not just beat them, Ravi. We can stand against them. We can survive, and one day, when the time is right, we can make them realize that humans are not a species to be underestimated." The Odyssey drifted silently among the asteroids, a tiny ship in the vastness of space, yet brimming with hope, determination, and courage. Humanity had discovered the power within themselves, the ability to adapt, think, and turn even the deadliest threat into an opportunity. For the first time, the crew felt something extraordinary, the possibility that humanity could not only survive but thrive, even against the most fearsome species in the galaxy. And with that thought, Elena knew one thing for certain. The war was far from over, but the turning point had come. Humanity had found its edge, and the Zetherians would never underestimate them again. The stars stretched endlessly before them, full of danger and opportunity. And humanity, clever, united, and determined, was ready to face whatever came next. The Odyssey had left the asteroid belt behind, traveling through the dark expanse of space. Captain Elena Voss stood on the bridge, staring at the stars. The crew was exhausted but determined, their spirits stronger than ever. Humanity had survived its first battles with the Zetherians, the deadliest species in the galaxy, and they had learned a powerful lesson. Intelligence, adaptability, and unity could overcome even overwhelming strength. Ravi Patel, still hunched over the interference console, looked up. "Captain, the fleet's movements are changing. They're regrouping, but slower this time. They're cautious, unsure of our next move." Elena nodded. "Good. That gives us an opening. Humanity is small but clever. We'll use this moment to strike strategically, not recklessly. Marcus, prepare a course to intercept a small squadron. Lara and Chen, shields and maneuvers at maximum efficiency. We move carefully, but decisively." The Odyssey approached a sector where the Zetherian ships were gathering. Unlike previous encounters, this time the humans had the advantage of preparation. Their interference arrays had been upgraded to target multiple ships simultaneously. The plan was simple yet daring. Disrupt a squadron, disable their coordination, and demonstrate that humans were a force to be reckoned with. Elena addressed the crew. "This is not just a fight for survival. This is a statement. We are not helpless. We are humans, and we will show the galaxy that our species cannot be underestimated." The squadron appeared on sensors, its massive ships glinting in the distant starlight. The Odyssey approached carefully, using debris and asteroid fragments as cover. Ravi activated the interference pulses, carefully timing each signal. At first, nothing seemed to happen. The Zetherians moved with precision, their ships seemingly unaffected. But then subtle disruptions began to appear. Energy beams misfired, weapon systems hesitated, and small collisions occurred among their ranks. Elena allowed herself a quiet smile. Now, Marcus, lead them into the corridor I marked on the chart. The Odyssey navigated a narrow region between two gas giants, the gravitational forces creating a natural maze. The Zetherian squadron followed, unaware of the trap awaiting them. Lara and Chen kept the shields active, deflecting stray energy pulses and debris. The humans moved with perfect coordination, exploiting every weakness in the enemy's formation. Ravi increased the intensity of the interference. This time the effect was dramatic. Several Zetherian ships faltered, drifting out of alignment. Their flagship lost temporary control of its smaller vessels. Elena seized the moment. Engage the secondary maneuver, slip past the weakened ships and target their communication core. The Odyssey darted forward, dodging attacks and weaving through the chaotic battlefield. Marcus's steady hands guided the ship with precision, while Ravi's interference pulses continued to disrupt the enemy. Finally, the human ship reached the flagship and executed a daring maneuver to disable its communication hub. The result was immediate. The entire squadron fell into disarray, smaller ships drifting, energy beams missing their targets, and formations collapsing. For the first time, humans had decisively challenged the Zetherians, not through sheer force but through strategy, innovation, and courage. Elena's voice rang through the bridge. We've done it. The squadron is neutralized. Maintain distance and monitor for counterattacks. The crew cheered quietly, knowing this victory was different. It wasn't about destroying the enemy. It was about proving that humans could fight intelligently and survive against the most fearsome species in the galaxy. Ravi's eyes shone with excitement. Captain, if we continue refining this approach, we could disrupt even larger formations. The possibilities are endless. Elena nodded, pride swelling in her chest. Yes, humanity has survived by thinking, by adapting, and by never giving up. That is our true power. The Zetherians may have raw strength, but we have something they cannot match: ingenuity, creativity, and unity. The Odyssey retreated to a safer distance, allowing the Zetherians to regroup. The fleet, once confident in its dominance, now moved cautiously, aware that humans were not to be underestimated. Across the galaxy, news of the humans' clever tactics spread among other species. Slowly, humanity's reputation began to change, from a minor, insignificant race to a force worthy of attention and respect. Elena called a crew meeting. We've done something extraordinary. Today, humanity has not only survived but has proven its worth. This is the beginning of a new era. We will continue to grow stronger, learn from every encounter, and protect ourselves with intelligence and courage. That is the essence of being human. Marcus added, Captain, the Zetherians will likely test us again. But now we know we can adapt faster than they expect. Every encounter makes us stronger, Lara smiled. We've learned to trust each other completely. That trust combined with our ingenuity makes us more powerful than any weapon. Chen nodded. And it shows the galaxy that humans don't give up no matter the odds. Elena looked out at the stars, feeling a deep sense of purpose. Exactly. We are survivors, thinkers, and fighters in our own way. The Zetherians may be the deadliest species in the galaxy, but humans are capable of anything when we work together and never lose hope. For the first time, the crew allowed themselves a sense of pride and accomplishment. They had faced a seemingly unstoppable enemy and come out alive, not just surviving but demonstrating that humans were clever, resourceful, and resilient. Over the next weeks, the Odyssey continued to explore nearby sectors, studying Zetherian movements and improving their strategies. Humanity's technology advanced rapidly, fueled by the necessity of survival and the determination to outthink a superior foe. Each encounter was a lesson, and each lesson made them stronger, faster, and more prepared. Elena often stood alone on the bridge, staring at the endless stars. We are not just explorers, she thought. We are humans, and our place in this galaxy is earned through intelligence, courage, and unity. We will survive and we will thrive. No species, no matter how deadly, can stop us from rising. Ravi approached quietly. Captain, do you think they'll ever see us as equals? Elena smiled faintly. Not yet. But one day they will. They'll realize that humans are not to be underestimated. That day is coming, and we will be ready. The Odyssey continued its journey, carrying humanity's hope and determination into the depths of space. The Zetherians had learned a valuable lesson. Humans were not prey, and even the deadliest species could be challenged by creativity, strategy, and courage. Humanity had entered a new era, one where their intelligence, adaptability, and unity were their greatest weapons. They were no longer small, insignificant explorers. They were survivors, innovators, and warriors in their own right. And as the stars stretched endlessly before them, Elena knew one truth above all. Humanity had earned its place in the galaxy, not through brute strength, but through the power of being human. The Zetherians might return, stronger and more determined, but the humans of the Odyssey were ready. They had learned, adapted, and grown. They had survived impossible odds, outsmarted the deadliest species in the galaxy, and proven that unity and ingenuity were more powerful than any weapon. Elena turned to her crew, her voice calm but full of conviction. We've done something extraordinary. We've survived, we've learned, and we've grown. This is just the beginning. Humanity will continue to rise, and the galaxy will remember us not as prey but as equals, as a force to be respected and feared in our own way. The crew nodded, determination shining in their eyes. Together they had faced the deadliest enemy, and together they would face whatever challenges the galaxy placed before them. Humanity had survived, and nothing would ever make them forget the power of being human. The stars stretched on endlessly, full of danger and opportunity. But for the humans of the Odyssey, the future was bright. They were alive, they were united, and they were ready for anything. In that vast, unforgiving galaxy, humanity had found its strength not in sheer force, but in courage, ingenuity, and the unbreakable bond of unity, and that strength would carry them forward, into the unknown, toward a new era of survival, discovery, and greatness.